Hello everybody, Neo Lifer here. Today this video is going to be one of the most important video I'm going to make, and please pay really close attention. If there's one video you have to watch before any other video, it should be this one. And very soon it's going to make sense what I'm going to talk about. First of all, I want to introduce you to a beautiful prop courtesy of my friend from California, Don. He has given me this original share certificate from 1930s representing 100 shares in the ownership of the company called United Stores Corporation. And I'm going to use this prop to demonstrate to you one of the most important principles in investing of all time. At the same time, I want to appreciate and thank um, the YouTube channel, The Odd Investor, for participating in my social experiment. Yeah, it's a social experiment. Okay. Hello, everyone. Neil Leffer. Okay, one of those most important things I have always want to demonstrate is the difference in approach when it comes to investing between the rational investing and irrational investing. As you probably know by now, if you look backwards in the last 20 years, the biggest gains are made by irrational investors, not by rational investors. And of all the people I know of, I'm probably one of the most rational investor out there. However, I was not able to generate outsized returns over a certain period of time. One example being my 10-year engagement in the casino business in Macau. I invested for 10 years in Macau because the casinos there were all undervalued, and I was able to get shares in Macau casinos virtually for free through a holding company in Australia. I received amazing dividends, but ultimately the investment did not make as much money as people who invested in, let's say, irrational stocks. And because of that, and I'm an investor, I'm not a analyst, let's call it that way, because analyzing stocks does not generate income. Investing money correctly generates income. And the number one mistake people make is thinking that by knowing more about something, you are going to make more money. That is usually not the case. However, in the space of NIO shares, one of the most important elements in holding people back from investing large amount of money in NIO is because of the rational thinking. And I have looked at the landscape in the NIO space. Who is the most rational person in the NIO space? And of all the people, of course, the odd investor is the most rational person. But getting NIO to 100 US dollar, rationality is your enemy. Irrationality is your friend. And you're gonna wonder what does that actually mean? Allow me to demonstrate. If I use logic and rationality, by right, I shouldn't invest in any companies. Why? Because statistically, virtually every company ever existed goes to zero. Here's a company went to zero. Here's another company that went to zero. And if you use rationality alone, just the rational thinking alone, you should never invest in any public listed companies because in the long term, everything goes to zero. If you don't believe me, ask AI how many companies survive longer than 300 years. You'll be very surprised. Public listed company has been around for a very long time. I'm not sure if you heard about the South Sea Company or the Dutch trading companies, East India Company, all this. There were shares available for those companies. They all went to zero. A lot of them are government sponsored too. Now, before I go further into the rational versus irrationality part, I just want to express my sympathy for Mr. Odd Investor. I don't know his name, unfortunately. I want to express my sympathy for the fact that he is depressed, and wish him the best in recovery. The depression is a serious problem, and his channel members unfortunately don't care about his depression. I'm literally the only one who mentioned his depression and wish him well and asked him to seek professional help. And he thanked me for that, and he didn't even need me to apologize because I was correct. He says, "Yeah, in fact, I am." He is depressed. I suggest to the people who are in his channel, instead of attacking me, you should support him in his recovering journey. His YouTube channel is actually not really about analyzing Neo. Analyzing Neo is his way to give himself a purpose so that he can continue his journey as a human who has a purpose to live. If someone is heavily depressed at his age, usually the most likely outcome is self deletion. And this is actually his way of avoiding that outcome. And because of that, I strongly recommend anybody who is in his channel. I'm not going to go to his channel, talk about any more about these things. But if anyone who is following him, please pour out your sympathy for him. Let him know that he has emotional support. It is not just about the Neo, but in fact that he has friends who will support him regardless how depressed he is. Depression is real. If someone can talk to him in person, that's even better. I have a lot of friends. I'm not depressed. And in fact, I'm living my life to the fullest. That's the reason I recently uploaded a short video showing you a glimpse of my life from yesterday on the Monday. So, how do I say? I was using my video as a ability to demonstrate the difference between irrational thinking and rational thinking. And the only way for us to bring share price of NEO to $100 per share is by appeal to irrational thinking. And the number one company has done so. It's called Tesla. Elon Musk is a jerk. He's a bad guy. But there's one thing I admire about him is that he knows how to play the market. He knows how to um, stir up emotions. He knows how to lead an army. He knows how to create a fan base. He knows how to give the fans what they want: hype, irrationality, superiority complex, everything. And here in NeoCamp, that is exactly what's missing to get us to a much higher price. Because ultimately, let's just be honest, every stock you ever will invest in will end up like this. Do you understand that? Every stock you ever invest in will be just like this piece of paper. In fact, in the modern stock, you don't even get a nicely printed piece of paper. Instead, all you get is just a digital entry in the ledger. So if you want to purely using rationality, you shouldn't invest in any companies whatsoever, any companies. But the truth is, we're here to make money. I'm leading an army of neo fanatics to make money. And the only way we can achieve Neo 100 is by convincing enough people to buy and hold. I repeat, hold the shares until 100 US dollar per share. Somebody like the rational thinkers, like the odd investor, is good for teaching people the basics about the company's fundamentals. But in reality, in the future, once we reach a certain price target, like $15 per share, $20 per share, people like him will be the strongest roadblock to overcome, because you have to overcome your rational thinking and be able to hold on to your stock despite the fact $50 per share is probably overvalued, $60 per share is going to be overvalued, $70 per share is overvalued, $100 per share is overvalued, $200 per share is overvalued. Always remember, just because a stock is overvalued, it does not mean it will crash. Same thing goes for undervalued stocks. Just because a stock is undervalued, it doesn't mean the price will recover. This is one of the biggest mistakes I personally made when I was young. When I was 16 to 21 years old, that period of time, I made a lot of mistakes in investing. I was value oriented. I read every book about value investing because I thought, logically speaking, all you have to do is buy cheap and the price will recover back to the statistical probability of the middle ground. This is not how it works. That was my ignorance about stock market. Stock market, for that matter, is irrational. We have a gigantic voting machine that is full of irrational actors, and irrationality is part of the game's rules. So my video about the difference between what I do and what OddInvestor does is to demonstrate the rational mind versus irrational mind. If you ruffle some feathers, I'm totally fine with that. Because what I want to avoid is addressing exactly this problem when we reach $20 per share, when we reach $30 per share. Because by then, I can just refer back to today when we're still trading at $7 per share or $7.20 per share. I don't really care. Right now, at this very moment, the rational investor and the irrational investor probably both will agree that NIO is a buy at $7 per share. However, once we get to 50, 60, $70 per share, our main obstacle will be people who try to convince others to sell, not hold on to 100. And I want to start today at $7 per share to tell everybody to buy and hold. Do exactly what made Tesla successful, do exactly what made Bitcoin successful. When you talk about rationality versus irrationality, look, my number one asset is actually not even NEO. My number one asset is in Bitcoin Cash. Rationally speaking, you shouldn't buy Bitcoin. You should buy Bitcoin Cash because Bitcoin Cash is far more faster, far more flexible. I can pay anything with Bitcoin Cash straight away. I don't have to wait. In fact, I'm paying my rent and my food with Bitcoin Cash every single day, every day here in Laos. However, everybody buys Bitcoin. Why? Because network effect. Everybody knows Bitcoin, the branding. So just because of the branding, that's it. Bitcoin has the branding, Bitcoin Cash has the functionality, and yet everybody buys Bitcoin. Equal supply, complete different demand, therefore price difference three, up to 300 to 1 price difference. But there lies the opportunity as well. That's the reason I'm not selling my Bitcoin Cash, I'm only using my Bitcoin Cash. Now back to NEO. In NEO space, I'm the cheerleader, I'm the general, I'm the planner, I'm the executioner of the grand plan of going to NEO 100 because I want to appeal to as many young people as possible to act irrational, sell whatever you can, buy as much NEO shares as you can, and tell as many people as you can about NEO 100 mission, and get everybody to hold until $100 per share. What do we do after $100 per share? We figure out afterward. By then, we'll have enough momentum so that enough people believe this thing is real. Then we can go to 200, 300, 400. But before this can happen, NEO 100 can only happen if you do not use your rational mind to make investment decisions. You have to use your irrational mind to make investment decisions. The guy, Don, I want to give a shout out to Don. Don is a very wealthy investor from California. He is a rational investor. He is also a NEO shareholder. He is diversified and he has many investments in different assets. Don has told me one thing that he says he regrets not buying Tesla shares because his brother bought Tesla shares and his brother only bought Tesla shares. Yeah. Now his brother is much, much richer than him. Don is not poor, but his brother is much richer than him because Don is a rational investor. He made rational investment decisions. He's doing okay. But compare his brother, who is an irrational decision maker, put all the money into Tesla, despite the fact everybody knows Tesla is overvalued. And the person who made the irrational decisions made the money. Now, my question to you, my viewer, is this: do you want to make money or do you want to be rational? If you can only choose one, what do you choose? That is the question. And the question here is also, if you just want to use your rational mind, then you should definitely sell all your stocks, sell everything, because every single stock you own will go to zero, just like this one here. Every one you own will go to zero. Use your rational mind only, then your logical decision should be dump all your stocks because every single one of them will go to zero. Every one of them. All right. Thank you for watching. I hope you like this video. I'm gonna make more videos in the future, of course, but I'm actually very busy here. And this is another tidbit about me that I normally don't want to share. I I'm making a lot of investment decisions here on this trip. I'm in Laos because I recognize Laos has been one of the most promising future markets in the world. So right now, I'm negotiating to buy real estate here, and I have already invested in banks here. So all I can say is I'm making a lot of investment decisions every day, but it's not related to NIO. Therefore, I don't talk about it. So just because I don't talk about it, it does not mean I'm not doing it. Same thing goes for so many things in my life. And the one highlight reel I have uploaded before this video is just a demonstration to everybody. Thank you. Yeah, that's good. We'll try. Okay, my food is here. So I just want to, this is squid with egg, salted egg, squid. So I'm in this country because this is the one of the most promising investment opportunity of all time, but it's not related to NEO, therefore I don't talk about it. And how do I say this in the most polite way? You know what? Let me just do this. You can choose the following. Do you want to be rational? If you want to be rational, you'll be like that. That'll be you. You want to be irrational? You'll be like me. By the way, we're same age. In case you wonder, we are same age. Him and me, same age. Okay? Same age. Irrational? Rational. You choose. All right. Have a great day. Bye bye.